Welcome to AFL180, brought to you by Guru.com.au. It's been a big week in footy again. Essendon got smashed by the Eagles, and then they got smashed by Asada in the AFL, and Vossi finally got fired. Maybe a few years too late, but we'll find out about that later on. Let's get straight into it. I'm the betting guru. I've got with me the usuals, Jono and Vova.
Howdy.
How are you going?
I don't think Essendon got smashed by Asada.
Not yet, but we'll discuss that. We'll thank you.
They've just been smashed by the AFL.
And not even fully, but we'll see what happens. Jono's got a big night coming up tomorrow, so we've got to try and be quick here. Yeah?
Jono, what's going on, mate?
Bucks night. I'm getting married in a couple of weeks, so
That's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
I can't wait. None of us know what's going on, Jono. Do you want to make a hazard a guess as to how many eyebrows you'll have left at the end of the night?
I'm hoping all of them.
He's got 2 weeks to grow them back before the wedding, so it's fine.
There's a bit of a blondie anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. No one's going to notice. Let's have a look at the games from last week. Actually, firstly, Jono, can you read out what happened with the tipping that we had last week?
So, under the new format where nobody is allowed to have the same bet, the Guru came in first again. Is that 3 or 4 weeks in a row
4
now?
weeks in a row, I believe.
Making more ground on me as a leader. Got 4 correct, including 4 underdog line bets. So for a total payout of $90.90. So he made 90 cents profit on the weekend.
Solid.
And what did you guys do?
Well, I got 4 correct for a $52.40 payout, and Vova, just for a change, came in last place with a $49.70
Hey,
payout.
I made a profit of minus $40.
With 3 correct. So
leaderboard?
that now leads the leaderboard. I still lead, $989.22. The Guru is rapidly closing, only $28 behind at $961. And Vova is well off the pace now with $887.
You watch. I'm going to pick GWS, somebody at the half GWS for the win last round. I will take both you fools.
No, that's interesting. So 4 weeks in a row of winning, and I still haven't caught up.
So
John, are you crapping yourself just a little bit?
After round 16, I was 128 ahead of the Guru. Now I'm only $28. So the Guru's made up $100 in 4 rounds. So if he keeps up that form, he'll be ahead after round 22.
Speaking of which, how's the elimination competition going?
The sporting bet elimination competition will. Right.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it
while the rest goes on.
We'll come back
Well, I
to
got
it.
eliminated. Let's start with that.
Incidentally, last week I gave a stat with regards to favourite lines versus underdog lines, and the results at the time were 82 to 80 in favour of the favourites. However, 8 underdogs covered the line on the weekend, swinging it in favour of the underdogs, who are now up 88 to 83.
The one bloody week I didn't bet completely underdogs.
The 1 week Vova didn't go with the underdog line, but it's where the Guru, who actually picked a couple of those off the back of other people stealing his first and second preference bets.
So it can be a good thing as well.
It can be a good thing.
So in the last man standing in the sporting bet competition, where you got to pick one side every week out of all the games, there are 10 people left still.
Wow.
So,
I
hope they'll get eliminated this week.
Vova did say that it'd be finished by round 21. So is this the? Is it? No,
Second
that was
round.
no, that's it. I think it's carrying on.
Well, they all have to be. Well, they all have to lose this week for me to be right. Well, 9 of them have to lose for me this week.
Either these guys have a lot of skill, or they work for sporting bet.
Nah, pure luck, mate. Are you kidding me? Pure luck. But it's nice that we actually got a betting topic introduced by Jono onto the Betting Guru podcast. Well done, mate.
No worries.
Alright, so what about the games last week?
The games last week. It was interesting round. Interesting round of football.
Well, let's start with
the Friday night game was one of the stinkers of the year. Hawthorn just didn't bring anything to the game.
And won by 50.
And
the sad thing is that the Saints tried very hard, which prevented my line bet and gave the win to the 2 other gentlemen. Yes.
I got the I picked the Saints at the plus line.
So, yeah,
I
well
was
played.
kind of comfortable the whole time, and I was actually... But Jono, yeah, got it right at the end.
And then Richmond switched off against Brisbane.
Well, this was a week of teams switching off and costing us line bets. Like,
Yeah,
I had Richmond
exactly.
plus a bit or minus a bit, and they were well up on that minus line.
They were
before.
smashing it at the start.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Same with the Cats. They were up by 58. I thought I easily had the line covered there. In fact, I was thinking I was going to be three for three because I had the Saints. I got the Saints on the Friday. Tigers were up. Thought I had the head-to-head, and then I had the Cats at minus 40, and they were up by 58. I thought I'm easily going to have 3 for 3 here, only leading, and all of a sudden, Cats just switched off.
I think we need to spend the rest of the year betting under the assumption teams will switch off.
Yeah, and
well, it's that time of year where you got to preserve your injuries and preserve your players anyway.
And then we had the Blues, who, according to their hierarchy, were a top 4 team, and Ratton didn't get them into the top 4, so he got rid of him and brought in Malthouse, and they couldn't even get over the Dogs.
They're rubbish. They're really not much this year, and I don't rate their forward line.
I don't know why everybody had them in the 8th at the start of the year.
You know.
Well, they still might get to play finals.
Surely not.
It is
Surely
possible,
not.
but I reckon it still comes down to Port and Carlton in the last round. But
Well, how good?
on present form, Port is the better team.
I think we should give credit to the Bulldogs, who I started giving credit to like 3 or 4 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and they have looked wonderful. Good young midfield coming up there.
Yeah,
37
absolutely.
scoring shots.
Oh, they just ran them off their legs. It was very impressive to watch. And Mark Murphy is having a terrible year. Speaking of which, he's their captain. He was a really gun player, and all of a sudden just can barely touch the ball.
Yeah.
June Syracuse, meanwhile, he is retiring next year, right? Most likely. He's been used on and off the field, like
As a coach.
He's been the sub constantly. He's been the kind of on-field coach as well, getting hardly any game time. He's leading the goal kicking. He's killing it. He's kicking goals every time he gets on the field.
See, here's the thing, and that kind of says something about the Bulldogs, because if they had one genuine gun forward, I think they'd have a very bright future. Maybe they can score somebody in the draft, but they just need a key forward desperately.
Gold Coast beat Melbourne, and Melbourne's one of the best games of the season.
One of Melbourne's gallant efforts for the season.
I can't believe I went Gold Coast played 40 plus. Oh, this is driving.
They actually had more scoring shots.
Yeah.
Melbourne.
They never really look like...
That's the one I lost, actually. But Melbourne did have more scoring shots. They just weren't accurate.
And then the Pies put themselves squarely in premiership contention with a...
How, John?
Sydney coach wasn't happy.
How did they do this? Tippett looked like a gun. They jumped them at the start.
Yeah.
What happened? I think this is the first and last time the Swans midfield gets smashed like that.
If you look at the Collingwood team this week, it's almost the best team that they've got. I mean, they've had all year. They've got a lot of their players back. Beams has got some match fitness behind him. It means that they're not relying, with Beams and Ball back in there, they're not relying on Pendlebury and Swan so much. And because of the depth now, Sidebottom's got off the leash, and he started to pick up.
Plus, Reed going forward has been a big help for them.
Got off the leash.
Yeah, Keith coming back in. That's yeah.
They got their structures right at the moment. We'll see if it lasts this week. It's going to be a good match.
Well, against the Hawks.
It's tough to keep coming up against big teams week after week.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep it up. Essendon came up against West Coast and got absolutely hammered by
in the second half too.
nearly 10 goals.
They got run off their legs in the second half. It was very
3
impressive.
weeks in a row now with Essendon.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're on the slide. I think it's mental. I think it is mental.
the season's taken its toll.
Their midfield is not that great.
They know there's a good chance that they might not play finals regardless of how well they do, so what's the point of trying? I understand that might not be how they should think, but that creeps in.
I don't know if the
I think it
players
creeps
think that
in.
way.
And then the Kangaroos, after beating Geelong the previous week, come out and lose to Adelaide the following week.
Yeah, but it was in Adelaide, and Adelaide's still a
But
decent team.
Still, the
Adelaide
Kangaroos-
was. I watched that last quarter quite carefully, and Adelaide was just so much harder at the ball. They really wanted it, and
Yeah.
North expected it. You know what I mean? They
Adelaide
deserved that win.
Flip flopping on North week in, week out. They play a good game, and I think, oh yeah, and I get on the next week, and then they lose, and then I jump off them, and then they win again. It's just
If I was a coach, I'd be very, very disappointed with that. They had all the motivation to win. They should have had all the motivation, but
Well, I have to say,
they
if
just
Voss,
weren't as hard at the ball in the last quarter.
Guru, if Voss is getting the sack, shouldn't Scott be getting the sack as well?
Although I think
the results haven't been
Rachel's come out and said he's the man for the future. So
I actually think he's a decent coach. But
and then Freo showed that they can kick a big score.
I've told you there wasn't a line big enough for that game.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
It's not even. GWS is going to be a good team, but you're playing against a bunch of like crazed maniacs that that just destroyed them and contested the ball. It wasn't fair.
I think that was the Guru's worst bet of the round, taking GWS at the.
Not to mention, in my second Supercoach team, I got smashed because of that. Because I needed Fife to get 109, and he got 106, and I lost by 2.
And he got downgraded as well to 105. That's gotta hurt.
It was unbelievable. He actually had good stats, but with a score of 157, there was a lot of other people with good stats.
Yeah, it's problem.
Yeah. All right. So this week, we wanted to mention the Vossi thing. Voss has been fired. I heard Jason Ackermanis on radio today talking about that, and he was a critic of Voss earlier, but he was saying that after 5 years, Voss is the best coach he's ever been. He's at the top of his powers. He's a much better coach than he used to be. They sack him now.
Yeah, no,
but the team hasn't improved
at
in
all.
The 5 years that he's been there. They've been middle of the road, bottom half of the table. They made finals in his first year, and then they recruited a whole bunch of
frivolas.
Well, yeah.
Well, they went something like 6, 13, 13, 11, like they're 13th now.
Yeah,
There's no reason for him to stay. I don't. And if they can get Ruse, I'm sorry, you got to do it.
And Ruse has got that link because he played for Fitzroy. He's got that. He's got a bit of an motivation to coach the Lions, and if he's available,
you got to do it.
You got to do it.
That's a big if, right? He hasn't said anything about it.
I'm sure that they did this under the express knowledge of here's the checkbook, Paul Ruse.
You think it's already happened, we just don't know about it?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe. It's a maybe.
And then the other.
But do you think he's a bad coach?
Voss?
Yes.
He's not a great coach.
I don't think he's a good coach at all. He drives me crazy. He's got the potential makings of a very good midfield. All right, and he plays Rockcliffe and Hanley at half forward and half back. Like, just get him into the midfield and just give yourself a chance at least. I don't think he's a good coach. I'm sorry. Right. That team has more talent than the number of wins they're showing.
Let's wrap that up.
So what does Melbourne do if Ruse goes to Brisbane?
Ruse is never going to Melbourne.
Yeah, but look, we saw what Port Adelaide did with Hinkley. I think
there's a good chance that Melbourne will keep the coach.
There's good coaches out
because,
there. No.
Who are they going to get? They committed themselves to getting a coach with senior experience.
Guru,
Who's left?
Nobody wanted to give Ken Hinkley a chance for a long time. We're seeing what they're doing. There's good coaches out there. You know, they just need to. I don't know, but
name names.
I don't know any names, but they need to go appoint some independent people to.
That's what they did last time, and they came up with Neil.
No,
he was
Gary
an up-and-coming star.
All right, so they're screwed once. They should go for it again.
I don't think it's tenable. As soon as they announce a coach that hasn't been tried before, they get hammered in the first 2 weeks. That's it. He's a goner.
Yeah.
Neil inherited a team that had won 8 games before he got there. So he took a team that was somewhat competitive and got them to start getting hammered. Nobody's gonna complain about somebody that's. I don't know.
He's responsible for bringing in Robbie Burns.
All right, you with your love with Ronnie Burns, Shannon the Blues is his name.
Shannon Burns.
Oh, who the hell's Robbie Burns?
He was ex-Geelong player. Anyway, one final topic.
The other small news item this week was
yes.
The AFL came out and put charges against some senior Essendon officials and the club.
Everyone waits for so long. Like, it's been such a long period of time. They've analysed everything. They come out and it's nothing. It's a non-announcement.
Well, but here's the thing. I didn't think they could screw up more than the Melbourne fine for not tanking, but they've now managed to get freaking Essendon for bringing the game into disrepute without an official report that says they took drugs.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, Jono?
It's the lawyers. I think the lawyers are ruining everything. The AFL is scared shitless to actually do anything because they're going to get sued.
Guru, the good thing is this is the story keeps on giving, because today they said that Hurd had the chance to clear everybody else and take the blame, and he didn't. and there's an article on the H saying they got injected with exotic Mexican drugs.
Exotic Mexican drugs.
I love it.
So, but this is the thing. Because
no one at the club can say what it was.
The reason they, and this is my interpretation of it all, the reason that they are being charged with bringing the game into disrepute is there was some sort of there's evidence that there was an experimental drug program going on at the Essendon Football Club under the watch of these people that have been charged. That puts the health. I mean and they didn't keep accurate records, or there's no records, and this is the reason why no players have been charged. There's no accurate records.
What would happen at a company if they had absolutely no due diligence over, like, let's say, trading or?
Yeah, but this isn't a company.
This is a company.
But they're an organisation, and these are employees
organisation.
of the organisation, and they're being injected.
It's not even GWS.
It breaches
it's
medical practices to not keep accurate records of what they're doing. They haven't shown duty of care to the employees of their organisation. It's led to a 7-month investigation where the AFL's brand and the Essendon's brand has been dragged through the mud, front and back page news nearly every day for 7 months. If that's not bringing the game into disrepute, I don't know what is.
I don't agree
it's
at
the
all.
Bloody lawyers.
If the problem is now they've given Essendon a very easy out. Now Essendon will say, "Well, there was nothing in the report that said you found us that we did anything bad."
No.
This will get dragged on for years now.
But there is. This Witkowski report, he came out and he said that there's evidence and that there was...
They're not going to care. They're going to stick to the line of, we didn't take illegal drugs. And they probably will win because they'll keep them tied up in court for years. Little will pay for this out of his own pocket. The AFL will still be in court about this next year.
I was listening to the news reports and they're talking about how now they're going to go into the negotiations for the penalty.
Yeah, what the hell?
What the hell is that? Why can't the governing body set the penalty? It's like negotiating with the murderer. Okay, listen, if you accept 20 years, I'll give you that.
They
do that though.
Yeah, but they do that.
Let's not get started.
That's what they do.
But the AFL doesn't need to do it. Like I couldn't believe it when I read that as well. I couldn't believe it. That is shocking.
But that's how they came to the Melbourne decision. It was a negotiation because taking draft picks and hammering Melbourne from a playing perspective any more than what they are, they're already bad enough. We'll give you a $500,000 fine, and then 6 months later we'll give you $2.2 million to help you pay out your coach and pay off your debts. Like, it was another.
It's a disgrace. But
the people running this game need to just. They all need.
How do you think it'll affect them this week on the park?
They will play like cleared men and beat North Melbourne. Wait, nice segue.
All right. So
this week's tips.
We'll do the same format again. Vova, seems you're still in last place.
Now, do I have to pick first every single time until I'm in last place? Or if I win a week, can I not pick first?
Well, you lost...
you gotta give me a chance.
Well, we could do it to whoever loses the week gets to pick first, rather than whoever's last on the table, because that's probably going to be you for the rest of the year.
So, hey! Alright, so
a little bit of smack to it.
I'll pick the first game. So, game number 1 this week. My beloved Saints against the Swans.
Oh dear.
Jono? Actually, no, I get to go first.
You get to go first, but Swans have got 3 ins: Jed Lamb, Gary Rowan, and Harry Cunningham. Gary Rowan back after a very long layoff. Swans lose Wilt and Hayes. Hayes massive out, given the Swans hard-bodied midfielders.
Given there was a recent game where Hayes went off and St Kilda got absolutely hammered.
Yeah. Well, so, speaking of which, I'm going to go Swans with a 60.5 point head start. They're only playing the young kids now, and I think at some point they're just all going to die in the same game, like the Geelong game. And we'll get trounced by a good 20 goals, and I think it'll be this week against probably the best midfield in the comp. Jono.
Guru's second.
Guru.
I can still change my tip, right? Up until now.
Yeah.
I haven't made it.
Correct.
Right?
Well, we haven't made it, and there's nothing to change, is there?
This is not excellent listening to our listeners.
Yeah, no, you sitting there tapping away on your computer trying to figure out what you want to tip.
This is a very, very professional, well-prepared show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Don't bring it into disrepute. I'm going to take Sydney 40+.
Strong bet there.
Scoundrel.
Yes. Got him.
Well, I'm going to take Sydney then at the extended line of 64.5.
Oh, there'll be some happy people if they win by 61. And there'll be a happy
If they
guru
win
by
by
60.
61, 2 or 3, I will not be happy.
Okay, next
Jono.
game.
I believe it's
No.
Jono next.
No,
Oh.
you pick the first three, didn't you?
Okay.
Oh, I'll go around the
Guru.
circle.
We're going around the circle.
Okay.
Guru's next.
Thanks for
This is
clarifying
great,
the rules.
great listening, guys.
Thanks for clarifying the rules. So, game 2 will be Port versus Gold Coast. What's the ins and outs of that?
Port out, Kane Mitchell, John Butcher, Dom Cassisi in, Campbell Heath, Cameron Hitchcock and Thomas Jonas. Suns lose Sam Day, Alex Sexton, Campbell Brown and Nathan Box.
Port head-to-head.
And
Port head to head. Alright.
that's a soft bet.
Okay.
Still getting $1.21 though.
Who
That's
won the
not
last
bad.
4 weeks?
True. True. I'm going to take Port 40 plus.
Ooh, that works out nicely. I was thinking you were going to be a scoundrel and take my Port 1 to 39 bet. But no, you didn't. So I'm taking Port 1 to 39.
Okay. Game 3?
By the way, the line on that game is perfect. You couldn't pick either way. I think they got it spot on.
There's a lot of really tight
Yeah.
lines here.
Essendon versus North.
The big one.
Big
Is it?
game.
Is it bigger
This
than
is
Hawthorn versus Collingwood?
a very interesting game. Essendon's form the last few weeks is just absolutely stunk. They've got Ryder out, Gumbleton out, Fletcher out, Myers out, and Windlick out.
Which is why the odds are as they
A
are.
few young players coming in. Look, I think North at the line minus 17.5.
Yeah, we were commenting before the podcast got started that who would have imagined 3 weeks ago that the line would be that North Melbourne would be $1.40 favourites over Essendon.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm taking the Dons with 17.5 point head start. They're going to do it for Hurdy this week. Stand by Hurd.
Okay.
Wowee.
I'm also going for Essendon.
Oh.
1 to 39
Oh.
at massive odds.
What are these massive odds of which you speak?
360 at the moment. Probably do better than that once we shop around.
It's impressive. It's risky given the amount of senior players out for Essendon.
And it'll bring me straight back into
And
the
it's
lead by
all young players coming
by
back in
Saturday.
apart from Crammery.
Saturday. I should be leading this competition.
All right. If you're still alive on Saturday, it'd be impressive. Next game, the official big one: Hawks versus the Pies.
Friday night blockbuster.
Pies, no change. As we mentioned before, probably their best team on paper for the year in consecutive games. Hawks get back Hodge, Birchall and Franklin in for Grimley, Spanger and Simpkin. So no great losses there, apart from Simpkin. He's been
it's
good
a much
when he's
improved
played.
lineup.
So it's probably Hawthorn's best team for the year, and it's probably Collingwood's best team for the year. So it's a
Great game.
great game. Close result. I don't think Hawthorn deserve to be, I mean, going on previous games, yeah, I don't think they deserve to be $1.50 favourites, but I got no idea.
All that talking for nothing.
I
You
know.
talk for 4 hours and you don't have a
I
tip.
know. I'll take Hawks 1 to 39.
That's a good bet.
That's actually a pretty solid bet. Luckily, Jono and I are in sync this week. I am taking my beloved Pies, who I hate to death, with a head start of 13.5 points.
That's what I was going to do. Oh, God.
You know you're going to win this bet now. It's going to frustrate the crap out of you.
Seems you're going for the big ones. Why don't you take Collingwood 40 plus at $11?
I think, John,
It's actually not the stupidest bet in the world.
I am a bigger Hawthorn fan than you. I believe more in Hawthorn than you do.
Alright, fine. I'm going to take Hawthorn minus 13.
Well, that's a big squish.
That's almost
Switch.
the opposite of what I was going to
Yep.
do. But that's how close it is. I actually think it's fairly
I'm
priced.
tempted to change and pick Collingwood head to head, but I just... Oh,
This
Too late.
podcast is not
Locked
long
it
enough.
in.
Lock it in, Eddie. Locked it in. That's it. Next game.
Alright, next game is Blues versus Tigers. Possibly not in that order. Blockbuster in Melbourne as well.
yeah. Blues lose Judd, Cassia, Rowe, Garlett and Watson. They lose their leading goal kicker.
I've
and
got to
their-
say, there hasn't been a lot of really big name injuries in the last couple of weeks. I think it's been very low injury for this time of year, except for Judd.
And with Judd, it maintains.
Yeah, and they get back McInnes, Robinson, Graham, Bell, and Casbolt.
Never heard of him. Tigers head to head. I think Blues are pretty rubbish this year. They don't deserve it.
I'm going to take Tigers at the line at 21.5. I just think, I reckon they got the Blues well and truly covered.
Johnny steals my bet, but that's okay, because I was going to take Richmond 1-39 as a default anyway, and I couldn't agree more. Carlton are not much chop, and as such, Richmond have got my vote.
Okay, Jono's second turn.
Alright. Come on, be a good one. Be a good one. Brisbane versus GWS.
All the good ones are gone. What do you want?
Oh dear. There's just too many ins and outs for both teams.
Jono, who's the new Brisbane coach?
I have no idea.
Excellent. Well prepared podcasters.
Does anyone know?
Anybody out there? I think Williams, Harvey is their assistant coach. I think he might be the coach.
Simon Black is in.
All right.
Brett Maloney is out.
I'm actually going to take Brisbane 40 plus.
Interesting. I think the players will want to impress the new coach, and as such, they will wallop them by 60 or more points. And I'm taking the line of minus 59.5 for Brizzy. Guru. Both of Guru's tips have been stolen.
No, I think I'm really not sure about this. I don't know if I should say it.
You can go GWS.
Say it.
Pick GWS.
I'll go for GWS. 13 to 1 odds.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I really hope they win, mate. I hope they win. In
13
Brisbane.
to 1 against Brisbane.
In Brisbane.
Come on. In Brisbane.
Playing for a new coach, where they want to impress.
It's only a short drive from Sydney.
All right.
I think.
Well, at least we're both going to make up some money on the Guru this week.
Never made the drive.
I actually have. It nearly ended my whole family.
I did not expect that. Well done, mate.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, we're going to make some money up potentially.
Yes.
Oh, for sure we're going to make money.
Unless Brisbane win by less than 40 points, in which case.
Yeah, we're a bunch of morons.
All right, next one.
Vova.
All right. Next game is West Coast against Geelong, up in West Coast. Massive retirements this week. Nikoski and Selwood.
And yes, but as we found out, it's
The wrong Selwood.
the wrong Selwood. It's not much news.
All right, I had the tough time with this one because West Coast have managed to screw me for about 12 weeks straight, except for the one time they won, and I didn't see last week coming. But I still have to stick with Geelong, so I'm going to take Geelong 1-39.
No! Again.
This is a brilliant idea, Jono. Brilliant idea.
You stole my bet. All right, can we come around to me afterwards? No, wait, that's bad.
That's bad.
I'm happy to take. I'm happy to go second. Come on,
radio
you
silence.
can't have silence on radio.
Yes.
You got to come pre-prepared for
It's
these
podcast
things.
radio.
There's 6 P's.
Yes, this is true.
All right. What are we supposed to do? Come with 2 bets?
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Oh, and this is the one I'm supposed to be preparing the
betting
podcast.
guru.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take Geelong minus 12.5.
$1.92. Interesting.
I'm just going to take Geelong head-to-head and I'll take what's left.
What were you going to do? You're going to do that anyway?
I was thinking Geelong line, so yeah, Geelong head-to-head, that'll do.
All right, boys, our listeners have to go to sleep, so 2 games to go. Melbourne versus Freo. Close game, that one. I'm going to go Freo at the line minus 66.5.
I'm going to go Freo 40 plus.
You bastards stole my tips. I'm taking Melbourne with a 66.5 point head start. Come on, D's! Come on, D's!
They did it last week with Gold Coast.
Gonna be
Then again, Fremantle absolutely destroyed their opposition last week.
So was Adelaide. They lose Dogs versus Adelaide. Interesting game in Melbourne.
Very interesting game.
Yeah.
God, I think Adelaide are in better form than Carlton. They should win this game. I'm going to take Adelaide head-to-head. I've got no confidence in that bet, no confidence I'll beat them by any particular margin, so I'm just going to take Adelaide head-to-head.
I got no confidence in this game either, which I think is going to be a very good game. Crouch just looks like he's a beautiful player. I'm taking Adelaide 1-39.
Oh, this is ridiculous. I had Adelaide head-to-head, and then I would have gone Adelaide 1-39. Alright, I'm going Adelaide 15 plus.
Ballsy bet away from home.
Yep.
With the Bulldogs in red hot form.
Yep.
Not wanting to change it. Maybe you should go with GWS head to head.
I'm going with Dangerfield. That guy can play. Alright, thanks very much, gentlemen.
Oh, by the way, guys, we forgot to mention that there was a Supercoach contest last week.
Yes.
That's not
And we
worth
didn't
mentioning.
speak about
It's
this the
not worth
whole
mentioning.
podcast.
Who was playing in that?
I'm
not
not
worth
100%
mentioning.
certain, but I believe it was the Guru against Jono.
He beat
In the
me
matchup of the Titans, how much did the Guru win by?
about 60.
About 60.
After former Brent Harvey scored his lowest score in about 10 years as Supercoach, and still Rioli screwed me again.
These are all valid complaints, and yet Michael managed to...
I managed to do it with Ablett as the captain.
who scored
Correct.
67.
And Jono swapped to Dangerfield and got over 100.
He got 97.
Yeah.
So I think for this year, we can proclaim the betting Guru to be the best Supercoach player, the better Supercoach player out of you
That's
two
right.
clowns.
After Jono's been telling me how crap my Supercoach team is.
Well, actually, he
Actually, I
dug
beat
his
him
own
last
grave.
time as well.
He dug his own
I beat him
grave.
twice this year.
Jono, jackpots every day next year.
Alright. Thank you to our listeners, and we'll be back next week.